live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should.
My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit mrsdanielledevita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today. Mrs. Danielle DeVita back with another video. I overheard someone say that marriage is overrated. A lot of women say, I like the strong silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type. And for sure, it's going down. So a lot of times people are not getting the value. When to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful. She's going to be aggressive, thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years, she's driven, not lazy. And this will make yourself and get on the right path. That understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter. If you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making, now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't. All right, so welcome. Thank you for watching another live. My name is Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I am a relationship and femininity coach. I have been married for 12 years, and my goal is to help you find the person that you deserve. So I will be looking at two different cameras. I have Facebook and YouTube here, so hello, and I have Instagram here. This is a call-in show, so I will go ahead and provide the information so you can get on. I put the information here so you can see on Instagram. If you want to get in, I have a number at the bottom of the screen, 813-816-1813. You can learn more about my content by going to mrsdanielledevita.com. I will also have the link in the comment section, which I just posted here. Before I go ahead and take the calls, I wanted to talk a little bit about what this live is today. And I have been a little frustrated. So this is why we have the live today. I am tired of the double standard. So just to give you an understanding of what this live is about, it is just to say, first, let me explain what my mission is so I can explain what I'm going into. My mission is to help women to hold themselves accountable. We do live in a world where women today don't want to hold themselves accountable, and I'm all for women's empowerment, but we have to understand that there are some poor decisions that we've made. There's some things that we've done that we can do better. We can't always point the finger at the guy because we've had some type of decision making in whatever dilemma that we've encountered previously in our past relationships and whatever things that we've encountered in our romantic lives, right? However, I don't want it to be, and I love men. I love that there are great men in the community, but there are men that do not want to be held accountable as well. So the reason why I don't talk too much about that on my channel is because there's lots of content. You can literally go on YouTube or any social media, and you're going to have people either berating men, talking about how they're no good, they're ain't ish, especially in our community. We have enough of that. And it is nice to have an advocate for men who are doing good. And when I say men, I mean men, not boys, not grown boys, not, all these other terms that people provide for, men like simp, things like that. We're talking about guys who are good guys. So again, we talked about in our last live stream, not nice guys, but these are good men. And we do not have enough of people advocating for good fathers and good husbands and good boyfriends and just good men in general. So I do want to be an advocate for that because I'm married to a good man, right? And I grew up in a home with a good man, right? I have those who are related to me that are good men. So I want to express that. But I know that just as much as women do not want to hold themselves accountable, there are men that do not want to do that either. And a lot of them have more of a social media presence than I do. And I'm frustrated because while I'm here trying to help women to be more feminine, to understand that while men think and process things differently from us, we can still be in a happy, healthy, and cohesive relationship. There are people making it seem like, you know, men don't do anything. There are no issues, and that it's all on us. If you want there to be a male leadership, right? Patriarchy type family style, if you're traditional, then it's highly important that men hold themselves accountable as well. There's so many channels that are telling male channels that are telling women how to hold themselves accountable. That the things that women are doing wrong, the things that women could do better, which I do believe that those things are true, and those ways that we can be better women, to be wife, um, to show wife-like qualities, to show proper motherly and womanly qualities, ladylike qualities. I believe in those things. But you cannot be a male and talk about holding women accountable, and you yourself won't do that. You yourself don't believe in marriage, but you can point the finger about a woman who's not wife material. You can't talk about the woman who's not being the proper mother she needs to be when you're not being the proper man you need to be, or you're not sexually responsible, right? So it frustrates me that we have people telling men, get on your purpose, do your thing, and all this positivity, but we don't tell men on ways that they can hold themselves more accountable as well. This is highly important if we want women to see male in a leadership role, because part of being a leader is holding yourself accountable and the men around you. On my channel, I talk about the woman. I do believe that women should submit to their man, but I also say that there's a type of man that you would submit to. So I don't advocate for submitting to any man or to build with any man. I advocate for submitting to a man who leads. And my definition of leads is L. Everything he says and does is within love. It may be tough love, but it's going to be out of love, not out of disdain, not out of hatred, not out of disgust, lack of respect, or anything like that. E, he elevates you. So we have men on social media, men who have some type of platform that are not elevating women. They're saying what women are doing, what's wrong, but not elevating and supporting women in a positive way, wanting women to change in a positive way, not shaming, not condemning, but there can be some type of constructive criticism, right? Not treating women like the gum at the bottom of their shoe. And there's some people that flock to certain social media just so women can be seen to be ripped a new one. All right. A, he aspires for greatness in all that he does, not just in getting that money, but in everything he does. And that includes in his romantic relationships. And D, he's dedicated to the things and people who he says he loves. So just as much as he's dedicated to that money, that car, that career, whatever it is, he's also dedicated to the people who he says that he loves and cares about. That includes his children, not the woman who he just says he wants to be with. S, he serves his community with greatness. This is living out his purpose. That's all that is. He's not okay with just making babies. He does believe in family. This is the guy you want to submit to. This is the part right here that I'm going to get into. A lot of men are shaming women for spending their 20s being with the wrong guy and want to be with the good guy in their 30s. However, society, social media presses men on how to sow their royal oats, should I say. in their 20s and then go and get the bag in their 30s? At what point are you making room for a family yourselves? So if I'm trying to help women to be the women that you say they should be, where are all the men who are trying to do right? If all the men in their 20s are doing whatever, what do you expect for women to interact with? She's supposed to go out and search for these good men. If we're trying to train men, coach men, help men to sow their royal oats in their 20s, do whatever they want in their 20s. So instead of women can't have the hot girl summer, but men, so to speak, can have their summertime flings. But with who? With what women? If all women are supposed to be feminine and ladylike and be marriage material, there must be some group of women that you're hoping to be for the streets, for the men who want to spend their 20s sowing their royal oats. So it's frustrating because we have this double standard of women need to hold themselves accountable. Women need to be with the right type of man in their prime. Women are going to hit the wall if they're focused on their careers and not trying to settle down. But we don't have a lot of people helping men to learn to settle down, even at a young age. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating because I see, I'm a woman, so I'm trying to help and coach other women. But there's men trying to also do the same thing and coach women. But they're not doing that for men. You're not holding other men accountable, just women. And sometimes these men do not have a relationship, a single relationship. So, but we're trying to teach about marriage, how to be marriage material. So help me. If you are a man and you agree with the double standard and that's just the way it is and that's how we deal with it, let me know. Call 813-816-1813. If you don't agree with the double standard, if you feel that there is no double standard that's out here, let me know. If you're a woman and you think there's a double standard. And to further this double standard, if you were a woman on social media and you're talking about the trifling men, just strictly the trifling men, or going to be with people outside of your race or whatever have you. There's channels like that, divestment and things like that. And I'm not advocating for that, but what I'm saying is there's channels like that. And men would say, these are male hating channels. These channels are divisive. These channels are not great. But there are men who have these same type of channels where we speak about women and we speak about the trifling woman. We speak about the modern woman and we rip them a new one, or men rip them a new one. And it is, and then how other races are better than your woman. So why is this channel a great advocate for you, but it's literally identical to the women who are doing those same type of channels? My goal here is not to talk about the trifling man because there's enough channels for that. As I said, I want to talk about the man that you say you want. So if you're a woman, I want to talk to you about men who are good men and what to do to be available for those good men. I would hope that there are men channels that help men how to look for the right woman, not just speak about trifling women, because that doesn't help them properly vet. It makes it, when you hear a lot of negativity, you naturally go into a relationship with some type of bitter feelings. That's the same thing what women do. When you hear music, when you hear things that are negative, you naturally go into it with this bitterness. And that's why some women have this look on their face when they're with men that they just meet, because they're just already like, I don't want the games. So they're straight to the point. Everything's interview style and it's not organic because they need healing. They have a lot of bitterness from past relationships or things like that. But men are doing the same thing as well. A lot of bitterness, a lot of disdain, a lot of hatred in some ways, a lot of anger. Men also need healing. And sometimes it could be from past relationship trauma or childhood trauma, things that you've seen, things that you've encountered. So I do hope that we all get the healing, but I advocate for dialogue. You know, it doesn't make any sense for women to have their channels and they're over here and they keep talking about what men are doing and things like that. And men have channels and talk about what women are doing, and no one's coming together so we can get a better understanding. Because you can, if you're a man, you could talk about women all day long, but a woman's going to tell you how a woman thinks and what she's thinking about. So call in if you want to know what women think, or if you have questions, if you have concerns, or you want to provide your male perspective, or if you're a woman and you may have a different perspective from me or the same, call in. I still think there are great men out here, but it's frustrating to see so many people have their input on women and what women, how women are not holding themselves accountable, but we won't talk about the men that aren't holding themselves accountable. And I don't want to say it's a small percentage, because I think actually good men are in the minority, but they're there. There are a lot of straight-laced men, but there are also a lot of men who are fueled by society. They're a product of their environment. Social media has influenced them. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. 81, or you can just place a comment. You can place a comment in on Instagram here. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, place a comment. I want us to have a dialogue. I want there to be some type of dialogue back and forth, whether you agree or you do not agree. So place a comment. There's a link. You can click the StreamYard link. But if you do click the StreamYard link, be camera ready, please. You can also click the link to request to join using the camera icon if you're on Instagram. And you can also call 813-816-1813. So yes, we can watch, we can listen, but we will not get better in relationships if there's no contact, if there's no dialogue. It's just so many people that just have their own channels and there's no constructive conversations. It's bashing here or bashing here. And just so you know, I do not tolerate bashing. So please do not put any comments for bashing, because I think women and men are great, but there are some toxic situations that are going on out here. And there's people helping people to be toxic, helping people to play games, helping people to destroy relationships. And all this does is affect the children, because at some point you're going to have children, and children are going to grow up and see this type of environment in which you've placed them in, because you don't know how to properly communicate, because you don't know how to have adult-like conversations. I don't advocate for arguing, yelling, screaming. I advocate for proper communication. And even if you're not in a relationship, there are going to be some points where you're going to be able to provide your thoughts. And we can all do this in a diplomatic way. But I do encourage both males and females to have dialogue because we do think differently. I don't expect men to think the same way I think. We process things differently. But I'd like your feedback so we can figure out, hey, what's going on? How can we do better? How can we be better? Again, my thought process may be different. And through marriage, I've learned that my husband and I do not think alike. Now, the goal is to have the same fundamental standards and agree on some of those big points. But if you're listening and you think there is a double standard, maybe in society there's a double standard, and maybe social media is not real, or maybe social media, there's the double standard. But I'm seeing it more and more as I do my research, as I do my observations, as I reach out and speak to different people. I realize there is some type of double standard. We so much want to hold women accountable. We want to, advocate for, the patriarchal type family, but we need leaders. We need men who really want to step up and fulfill his responsibilities. And it's going to take men also doing a change to change us. See, when men say, I won't tolerate this anymore, when men say, this is not what I would do, when men say, I no longer want this type of woman, I will no longer give this woman access to my wallet, to my mind, to my time, and to my body. See, a lot of times men feel like, well, I have needs. A woman should close her legs and not, have so many bodies on her. But a guy can, wrap up bodies, right? He can have all these notches under his belt. But if you are a man of standard, why have all these women that you don't even want, that you don't respect, have access to you? Because you have needs. But what about your standards? I'm not saying you should lock it up forever. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the same way you would tell a woman, well, stop spending time with the thugs, the bad boys, the street dudes, and all this and that. Why, if you're going to tell a guy, if you're a guy telling a woman that, why does that not apply to you? Why not you have the mindset in your younger years as well? Give me a second here. And I find it frustrating because I'm having people come to me if I'm doing coaching and they're saying, well, if I'm supposed to be doing this and I'm in my 20s, I'm approaching my 30s, these men are not having the same mindset as me because they're in their 20s. They're not trying to settle down. But you're telling me I need to be working on my femininity and my marriage qualities, but that's not going to be available to me until 30s because that's when guys are ready to settle down. Or you're saying I should be looking for guys in my 30s while in my 20s? So it's frustrating. So if you're a guy and you're listening, tell us what are your thoughts about what women should be doing, what men should be doing during this prime period. And I know a lot of men have this view of men always hit their prime. They never hit a wall, apparently, because I've seen some men that they look like they hit a wall. Okay, every man ain't glowing in his middle age. So, we have this thing of once you're 30, you're a throwaway. But the reason why that's also concerning is, let's say you do get with the woman in her prime and you decide to marry her. So what? After you guys are married for so long, when she hits 30 something, you're ready to throw her away for your next wife who's in the 20s? Like, help me understand this. Help me understand why we're calling women throwaway in the 30s. When I can tell you there's some men here that are hitting 30 or already in their 30s or in their 40s and they ain't doing much. They haven't hit their goals, what they said they wanted to do in life. And so I do encourage both men and women, write down what your strengths and your weaknesses are. Whatever your weaknesses are, you work on those. Whatever your strengths are, tell yourself, yes, these are my strengths, and build on that. Use your strengths to help your weaknesses. I agree with that. But there is a double standard. And and I'm not saying it's pointless to be here coaching or anything like that, but it enough is enough. Because if I'm advocating for male leadership, which I advocate for male leadership, I want to see male leaders in their relationships, not just on the job, in their families. Their children can see that they are a leader. That's what I want. So don't just stare at me. Don't look at the screen and listen to me speak. Come on, call in 813-816-1813. Or you can get on StreamYard and listen in. If you are here on Instagram, you can request to join. I also put the StreamYard link there too. But come on, get on camera, call in, tell me your thoughts, or hit the comment section. If you are listening on the playback, post in your comments after the fact. Let me know your thoughts about this subject, because there is a double standard. I want women to be held accountable, but I also want men to be held accountable. And I also think that I believe that male channels have a duty. They have a duty to make sure that it's not just about talking about how women need to be held accountable, but how men should be also held accountable, and how men can be better men. So come on, guys. Yes, women have the ability to determine who has access to her, so she can actually plan her parenthood, whether she wants to be a parent or not. I understand that. Who she wants to marry, who she wants to be in a relationship with. Excuse me. Who she wants to be in a relationship with. But men also have a decision. Come on. You can't tell me men have no decisions. If you're a man and you believe in leadership, you know that you should be making the better decisions. It's not up to the woman to be making all the decisions. It's not. So if you say you're a leader, step up today and hold your friends accountable. They're your friends. I'm not saying you just talk to any random person on the street, but if they're your friend, you say, hey, come on, man, be better, do better. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that with my friends. Some people don't want to listen. Some people are going to do what they want to do anyway. They are. But if you believe that men do hold themselves accountable 100%, because I've listened and I heard men say, well, she's not marriage material, and so this is why I won't be with her. But you have allowed her to have access to you. Truth be told, women are doing the same thing. They allow someone who's not worthy to have access to them. But you are doing the same thing. And I understand you're saying you're doing it because in the name of men have needs. Well, of course, women have needs too. Come on. But I want us to have a happy, cohesive, and healthy relationship. And the only way we can do that is if we both, male and females, acknowledge that there's a problem. There's a disconnect. So I am tired of the double standard. I am tired of men thinking that it's just women that need to hold themselves accountable, that only women are the issue. It's not. I know there's some good men out there. I see them. And I want those men to step up and hold other men accountable. And you can't do that just, you can't do that just by saying it's women, 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 women. Women are modern. Women need to be better. Women are not the only one who are modern. And let's see, Green Lantern. Let's see what Green Lantern says. No, you're definitely right. It is much easier to judge the other gender and not hold one's own self accountable. Looking at the man in the mirror is no easy feature. Yes. It's not easy. It hurts to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I've made some poor decisions. I've done wrong. I haven't held up to my responsibilities. I haven't been the man that I need to be. I haven't had proper decisions in who I want to be with. And I did a video a while ago, and I still stand by what I said. There are some men that only watch channels just to see a woman get it, someone stick it to the woman, just to see a woman get berated. And not to say that, what people are saying aren't true, but that's not enough just to say that something's true. If I say you have a tacky outfit on, yes, it's true. It may be tacky, but how did I uplift you today? Could I have said something better? Could I have said, you know what? This color flatters you better. Could I have said that? So we have to stop, getting to the point where we say, women are being trifling, women are modern, women don't deserve this, women are that, this is da 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 da. But men too have issues. Make no mistake that women did all these things alone. It takes two to tango. So let me know your thoughts. I'd like to know, because it is easier to judge people. And when I talk about, whether I'm here or on the Philip Scott show, or I watch other channels and I hear people say, well, what about the men? And then when I say something about the men, it's, what about the women? You don't have a right to tell us what we need to do. But you guys spend so much on other channels telling women what they need to do. But you're not going to tell men what they need to do? You can't just talk to sense. You can't just talk to, really trifling men. There are other people too that say they're good men and they aren't doing right either. Yeah. Green Lantern also says it would be ideal for us to hold our fellow men accountable, but sometimes we don't have this. We don't have our own act entirely together. No one wants to listen to you unless you're all put together. It's true. And you know what? We're not going to all be put together. We're not all perfect. I'm not perfect. But if I see someone doing something wrong, I do want to tell someone. But I will say this, and this is a fact, that people have asked for my opinion. People have asked for my expertise, and they don't want it. They will be upset that I provided them the truth. But you know what? The truth hurts like a double sword. And let me tell you, I've had to take a dose of that truth. That pill was hard to swallow. But because I listened to such truth, because I've learned and I've taken it in and comprehended it, this is why my marriage is the way it is, because I use that constructive criticism to be better, to do better. And my goal is to help make sure both men and women are the best versions of themselves. If you say, this is how I am, how are you being better? It cannot be, this is how I am, this is the way it is. Why can't we strive to be better? It can't be just New Year's that we strive to be better. No. Let's be better every day. And that includes being a better father, being a better husband, being a better boyfriend, a better man in general. The same thing I was saying with women, because a lot of women say, this is how I am. Why can't man take me how I am? No, Jesus will take you how you are. And he has unconditional love. Truth be told, there is conditions on love. There really is. That's why it's called deal breakers. Let's see. David says, most of today's men were raised by women. I think that's a problem. And it is, especially in the Black community, 70% of households are raised by women, and it's a problem. And I do not want to just, and I've said my piece about women have made a lot of these decisions as well, and why there's a single household. Let's be clear, because you don't, unless someone forced you, you help create this child. But men hold a responsibility in these things as well. They do. So I think it's time that we realize that there is a double standard. And then, and I'm not going to get too much into like the Roe versus Wade, Roe v. Wade, but in those situations, a lot of times, especially if you're traditional, you're like, well, I don't agree with women deciding what they're going to do with children. But there are a lot of women that are doing what they do with children is because they're pressured sometimes by men to make such decisions, either pressuring to actually do it or say, if you do it, you'll be all alone with no support, no help. And that is a scary thing for some women. Some women have wanted to go through with this, but not alone. So I'm not going to say all my opinions on those things, but we have to understand that there's two people that help weigh in on some of these decisions. There are. And if you don't know the backstory to the whole Roe versus Wade, the woman was a married woman who stepped out of her marriage and had a baby with another man. That man wanted to keep the child. The biological father wanted to keep the child. The husband said, if you stay with me, you need to get rid of the child. And so really the situation occurred between the father, the biological father, and the mother, where he wanted to keep the child, but of course he has no legal rights. As a man, you don't have legal rights as a mother would if you're not married. So the legal father had rights, which is her husband. That's the backstory in case for those who did not know. But I do think it's a problem that a lot of women are, raising boys to be men. And a woman, no matter how great she is, can be a father. She cannot raise a man. A man can do that. Whether it's the actual father figure, they can help them be men. So we can't be okay with, because there's now women now that are saying, I can, and I think I did a video, and I'll play that really quick. She said, well, we don't need men. We can raise these children on our own. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of men are being raised by women, because women believe I can do it on my own. I don't need a man. I just need his sperm. So let me talk about that, because women like her are part of the reasons why we have these issues. Let me see if it's on here. I think this is it. So let me get off the stream really quick. David said, and that's why men are becoming soft and sensitive. Yep, I agree. Let me just get off stream really quick so I can play this stream real quick.
Understand, I'm gonna bring life. Y'all don't.
How do you get that life?
Go in the hospital and get a sperm donor. You don't need a man.
You still need a man.
You need a physical woman to bear a child for you.
And y'all need a physical sperm. Where does it come from?
That's for right now. Give it to
From a man. If a physical man didn't go to that hospital, it would not be there.
You guys don't carry kids for 9 months. We do.
I carry them my whole life. What the hell? Kids is here the whole life.
You can't have a baby without sperm.
Women like you always try to eliminate men, and that's where the issue is. You just said you don't need a man.
You don't. You don't. We want you. There's a difference. Need and want is a different thing. I don't need a man.
You don't want him.
You want the potion.
You want the potion that lives inside of his testicle.
So, as I said when I played this video, I think a couple of live streams ago, women that are saying they don't need a man, even for life, I don't believe these women really need to be mothers, because you're doing a disservice to your child, whether it's your daughter or your son, by being okay with them being raised without their father. Their father is part of their identity. And when you take that away, you're taking a piece away from that child, all because you don't need a man. However, there are men that are okay with not being weakened. They're okay with being weakened fathers. Or they don't want to be a father at all. Or they don't want to live the marriage life. They want to, as I said earlier, sow their royal oats. So if that's the case, what am I doing here? How am I teaching femininity and women to have wife-like qualities when you really don't want a wife? You just want the qualities, but you don't want a wife, because there are men saying they're going their own way. They would still trick with women, but they don't want to have an actual relationship, a committed or marriage or anything like that with children. They don't want the family. So again, I truly believe there's a double standard, because there's just so much out here saying, hey, you over here need to get yourself together, but not saying I need to get myself together. We both need to get ourselves together. And if you guys don't remember the TD Jakes sermon that we talked about that went viral, where he was saying women, are, saying they don't need men and they're climbing the corporate ladder. But the whole sermon was about how men should pour in. And he was saying that a lot of men don't have anything to pour in because nothing was poured into them. There was no male figure to pour into them. There was no father to pour into them. They don't know how to love, how to communicate, how to be there, or to do, they don't know how to actually give the child support other than financial child support. So that's where Jesus comes in and needs to pour in, so you can help pour into others. Because if no one pours into you, what do you have left to pour into others? So I think a lot of women took that sermon away from what it was intended to talk about, because it was really to help men learn to get what you need to pour into others. And pour into others would be, if you're traditional believe in family, you're going to pour into that woman, and she's going to be full, where she can pour into that child. But when you're empty inside, when you need that healing, when you don't have what you need, you're not going to have anything to pour into. You're not. So again, it's not just women that need to hold themselves accountable, but men need to do it as well. We gotta stop this, women are modern, women aren't doing this, and I understand about American women. Sometimes they're a little bit different than women in other parts of the world, because other parts of the world still have more of a traditional culture setting. But we can't say that the whole world having the whole American women are having issues, and that there's no modern men either. We can't do that. We can't put it all on the women, because if you put it all on the women, then are you a leader as you say you are? Because the leader does not say, if you work somewhere, does the manager say, oh, my employee did this? No, they bear the responsibility. So as a leader, you got to bear that responsibility. You can't put it on just the women. You're the leader, like you say you are. David says, yeah. Lioness hunts, yes. And the male protects the pride. Their role will never change. The absence of law creates lawlessness. Correct. It's usually the woman, the female lion, that goes out to hunt. So, as a male, protect your pride. And that's going to start at home. Going on to all these different women, getting a notch under your belt is not going to help the family unit. It's not. It's not going to help. Children are going to grow up having their mother teach them on how to be men. And then they're going to grow up being sensitive, feminized, and all these other things, a whole slew of things. And then women who display masculine behaviors, they're not still going to teach their son the proper masculine behaviors. It's still going to be some form of behaviors that are not going to be conducive of what it needs to actually be a man. Because if you have women that are not going to hold themselves to responsibility, she's not going to teach this man to be a provider, to be responsible, to grow up, to do what he needs to do. At some level, he's still going to be coddled. And I don't believe in the term toxic masculinity, because I just don't believe that masculinity itself can be toxic. There could be behaviors that can be toxic, but not masculinity. Same thing with femininity. There's nothing toxic about femininity, but people can use some of these characteristics, some of these qualities, and turn it for something negative. So, have something you want to say? Call 813-816-1813. And what I might do is I've been reaching out, trying to get people to come on the show, some special guests to have dialogue. So hopefully we can get some of these underway, and we can kind of piggyback on this on the next live stream on Thursday. So we'll talk a little bit more about this, and of course, along with some other things. But if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to put some things in the comment, talk about it. Or you can call in next time. So we'll pick some of this up on the next stream, but it's highly important that as a man, you also hold your friends around you accountable. It cannot just be all on the woman, because if you believe in leadership, if you believe in traditional views, then that means you have to step up. You do. You have to take some level of responsibility on what you can do better in your relationships. Thank you, Kenny, and thank you for coming in. How are you doing? So, and we're talking about the double standard. You can watch this back on the replay, because I know we'll be wrapping up soon. So we'll piggyback on this a little bit later, but I want to make sure that you all understand that I love men and I love my women, but I want us to both hold each other accountable. But we can't, or hold ourselves accountable, because we spend so much time asking each other to be accountable, but we don't look at ourselves in the mirror. It's so easy to point the finger and say, men are doing this, men are doing that, or women are doing this, women are doing that. But you can be better. You can do better. Let me see. Did I have a call come in? I don't know why it's not ringing. Try it again. If you were calling in, try again. I'm not sure why the call didn't come in. So let me know. Whoever the caller was. I got a message that there's a missed call, but that's all I got. Let's see. All right, so if you were calling, call in again. If not, you can call in on the next stream. I do streams every Tuesday and Thursday. Let me see real quick. Yes, so I do calls every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I know sometimes I have people that are on different parts of the country, and it's different hours. So just know it's Eastern Standard Time at 9:30. But my goal is to help us create this happy, healthy, cohesive relationship, right? And I say cohesive often because it's not enough just to have this long-term committed relationship, but you want it to be a tight bond, working together like a nice puzzle. And that's what you want. And that's what I want for you. I think men and women should properly vet. It's not just up to women to vet, but men should do it as well. Green Lantern says, let's see. In the old days, men would definitely check other men. The community as a whole would hold people accountable that are messing up. Times have changed. Yeah, a lot of times people are saying, oh, you can't shame me. They don't want to be shamed. Well, we've got to get to the point where we say, no, enough is enough. We need to do better. Enough is enough. We have to, tell, if you see someone doing something crazy, and say, hey, that's not ladylike. Hey, come on, man. However you guys men talk, we've got to do that. And that's what I'm doing here. I really am trying to hold women accountable, because there are going to be so many channels that they can go to help them, fuel that fire of men ain't ish. But I don't think that's so. But so many women are living modern, and they're looking for these people to tell them that, yeah, co-signing mess. But I'm not here to co-sign mess. I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm here to tell you from experience. I haven't been married for 12 years to not have trial and error. I can tell you that. And because I married young, I wasn't as mature as someone who would get married older. So I've had a lot of life lessons along the way. So I'm trying to tell you from experience, why wait till you get married to experience the same issues that I've experienced? I'm trying to tell you now how you can conduct yourself, how you can get ready for marriage and not have the same trial and error that I did. I don't want that for you. I want you to have a happy, healthy, and cohesive family relationship. So if you like this live stream, please subscribe. If you like the content that I provide, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on my live streams. Hit the notification button. So my goal is to help create happy and healthy families. That's what I want. That's why I'm here. So if you are looking for that channel that berates men or berates women, nope, that's not what I do, because I want to uplift the community. That's what I want to do. I want to help women to be feminine, not just to get a certain man, but be feminine because that's who you should be. That's part of your purpose as a woman. There's nothing wrong with feminine qualities. It does not make you weak. The same way masculinity helps men be the men that they need to be and fulfill the purpose they need to as a provider, as a leader. All right. So I appreciate you taking time to listen to me. We'll reconvene on Thursday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in to Mrs. Danielle DeVita. I hope you all take care. Mrs. Danielle DeVita back with another video. I overheard someone say that marriage is overrated. A lot of women say, I like the strong silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type. And for sure, it's going down. So a lot of times people are not getting the when to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful. She's going to be aggressive, thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years, he's driven, not lazy. And this will make yourself and get on the right path. That understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter if you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making. Now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't.
We live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should.
My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit MrsDanielleDeVita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today.